Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you things I wish I'd known about trying to conceive, or TTC for short, and that's where we're gonna start. The very first thing I wish I would have known about TTC is that there are so many acronyms associated with the entire TTC journey. If you join a fertility tracking app, and that's my next point that I'll sort of mesh into this one, is that if you join a fertility tracking app, which I highly recommend, I use the app Ovia. I loved it. I can't recommend it enough, but a lot of people love Clue and Glow. There are a lot of apps out there. It's just kind of finding one that works for you. If you join an app, there will more than likely be a message board, and on that message board, it's great because there's a community and there's a lot of women connecting and talking about their journeys. But let me tell you, when you first open that app and you look at the message board, it's going to look like a secret code. It's going to look like people are talking from like one planet to another. I was so confused, and my first few like message board chats were truly just like, hey guys, what does TWW mean? What does CM mean? And everyone talks in acronyms. I think it's because you're limited with how much you can say. It's sort of like Twitter, like you only have so many characters to use on those message boards. So gonna help you guys out here. I am going to list some of the most common TTC acronyms down below. I collected them over time because I thought at first I thought, oh, I'll make a video all about the acronyms. And so I started just writing down all the acronyms I saw or knew, used. And I thought, you know what, it's just going to be so much easier if I put them down in the description box. I'll have down there things like I mentioned TWW or CM or OPK, all of these acronyms, all of these letters that at the time looked like hieroglyphics to me. But if you are going to be using those apps, if you are going to be in the comments of different TTC videos, knowing those acronyms can be really, really helpful. And speaking of apps, like I mentioned, I highly recommend using one. I didn't realize there are so many out there, and you can really, what I did was I started using two. I started using Ovia and Clue, and I would highly recommend Clue if you're new to tracking your fertility, tracking your period. The interface is really user friendly. But what I would recommend is downloading a few of them, like downloading anywhere from like 2 to 4 of them, using all of them at the same time, which to start might seem a little nuts and might seem a little overwhelming, but you'll get to know each app. And then after a few months, couple months, you may realize like, oh, hey, I really actually gravitate toward this app, really love the way this app is designed. And so that's a nice little tip if you are trying to conceive and really have that mindset of like, I want to really document my basal body temperature, my cervical mucus, you know, how I'm feeling. You may find an app that tracks all of those things in a really easy, convenient way for you. And the only way you're gonna know is to try. And the next thing I wish I would have known about TTC is that it can take, you know, you could try first month, get pregnant, wham bam, you did it, great. Or it could take 6 months, or it could take a year, or it could take 2 years. Everyone's journeys are so different, and that seems obvious, right? I didn't really realize that until we were in our TTC journey, and I was looking into the entire process of how a sperm actually meets an egg and ovulation and like what my body actually does, because we were never taught that in school. And so you kind of have to teach yourself. And I didn't have to teach myself until we were ready to conceive a baby. And so all of that information was so fascinating to me and made me really appreciate the human body and the odds of conceiving a child and just the miracle behind it all. And so I would highly recommend doing a little bit of research on YouTube or online, or asking someone, maybe you know someone in the OB field who can clarify for you, or maybe you feel comfortable with your OB to really break it down. But I just find it all so fascinating. And yeah, at the end of the day, for some people, they're gonna try that first month and it's going to happen for them, but don't get discouraged if it doesn't, and if it takes a few months, if it takes a year. So the whole TTC time, the journey, the you and your partner have decided we're going to try to have a baby, obviously such an exciting time, right? So exciting. But what I didn't realize is that, and like what I wish I would have known, I guess, is that it's also a stressful time, and like that's okay. It's okay to feel stressed about it, especially during like the 2-week wait period, but not to let that become all consuming, to like really fill up your schedule with activities and things to do, so that way you're not just thinking about trying to conceive. We all know that stress isn't good for the body and isn't good for the mind, especially when you've made that like glorious, beautiful decision to try to have a baby. It can become like all you want to think about, all you want to do, and it can become really stressful. And I guess I just didn't realize that until I was in it. Like if someone would have told me like, hey, this process is going to be really stressful, I would have been like, oh yeah, I guess it like will be sort of stressful, but like I'm sure it'll be fine. But no, it can be really stressful, and that worry and that anxiety can start to become like all consuming. So what I would recommend is, if you are trying to conceive and you're in that 2-week wait period, about 14 days where you can't test because your HCG levels are probably too low to be picked up by a test. Now, obviously there are blood tests that can be done, and there are some tests out there that do early detection. It was kind of tricky, and the longer you can wait, the better. So you can imagine that time is super, super stressful. And my best advice is just to try to fill up your schedule as much as possible with fun activities, coffee dates, like going to different events and stuff, just like getting your mind off of the inevitable. Like you're inevitably going to be thinking about whether or not you're pregnant all the time. So the more distraction, the better. Just do your mind good. And the last thing I wanted to share with you is not necessarily one that I didn't know, but one that a lot of people aren't very aware of. And that is that there are over-the-counter supplements that can help you while you are trying to conceive. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor, so always consult your doctor before taking any new supplements, especially during this time. But there is a supplement called Pregnitude, which is a powdery substance that you put in. It's odorless, colorless, tasteless. You put it in water, you put it in a smoothie, coffee, whatever, in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And it's supposed to help in boosting the quality of your eggs. So I found that really helpful. There have been mixed reviews, just like with anything else. Again, I would just recommend that you consult your doctor and talk to your doctor about it. I don't even know. I think I was watching some videos on YouTube and heard about it, and you can buy it on Amazon, really easy. I'll link it down below. I just think it's so amazing that there's an over-the-counter supplement that can help increase the quality of your eggs and thus increase the likelihood of conception. Other thing I wanted to mention is not necessarily like a supplement, it's Pre-Seed. And Pre-Seed is a lubricant, and it's actually, the box says that it's like the #1 fertility clinic recommended lubricant. I had no idea, and I've mentioned this before, just slipping it into this video, no pun intended. I had no idea that there are certain lubricants that are actually harmful to your chances of conceiving. And there are certain lubricants out there that have an ingredient in them called spermicide, like literally the scariest words I've ever heard, spermicide. And spermicide is an ingredient put in lubricant to do the opposite of what you want to do when you're trying to conceive a baby. Spermicide will actually kill sperm and decrease the chances of those sperm actually making it to your eggs. So my biggest advice is, if you are trying to conceive, check out some articles, and I'll link some down below that talk about which lubricants are the best to use while you're trying to conceive. And I will also link Pre-Seed down below. I found that Pre-Seed was so incredibly helpful. Pre-Seed is a lubricant that's made to mimic the most fertile CM that your body makes. If you're worried that your body doesn't make enough cervical mucus, Pre-Seed is a great option. And again, you can definitely talk to your doctor about it. I used it. I mean, some complaints are that the application process can be a little bit tedious and can definitely take you like out of the mood. But if you've tried other lubricants or you've tried other options, you haven't tried Pre-Seed, then I would say give it a shot, give it a go. Okay guys, and those are all the things I wish I would have known about TTC. If you are currently trying to conceive and I forgot anything, or you're experiencing anything that I didn't mention, definitely leave it down in the comments below. I'm sure that will be really helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.